Alright, so today we're going to do the walk cycle for the 3D puppet. And the poses to use are contact, down, passing, contact. Alright, so on the Richard Williams, there's an extra pose called the up pose, which I personally feel that it's for character walk. So I'm going to start off with the puppet that I've prepared. And I'm just using the 3-panel split top so that I can animate on this viewport. And I have this viewport to select all the controls here. Okay, so I'm going to position the poses, which is the contact. So I'm going to start with the contact pose first. Alright, so I'm going to pose this guy. And I try to key only the keys which I use, right? Because I don't want to set key all and kind of like messed up my animation, right? So I want it to be clean, and I'll just set key to those keys which I use on the channel box. Okay, so the important thing about the contact pose, we want the knees to be straight on the contact pose, right? Okay, so generally on the contact pose, we do not have a stripe wider than one shoe. Okay, so be careful about IK overshoot. Right, so you can see that you want the foot in contact to the ground. Okay, so I'm going to set key. Okay, so this is my first pose for the contact. So I'm going to go to the last pose, which is frame 25 for a regular walk. And I'm going to set key also for those attributes which I used. Alright, so again, before you start animating, we should always check that it's on 24 frames. So mine was not, so I'm going to set it back to 24 frames. Time slider, 24 real time. And save. Alright, so I need to snap back to the full value. So you can see here it's on 1, it should be on 1, and snap back the values to the full frame. Alright, so I got the 2 contact posts because it's a cycle. So the first frame and frame 25 should be the same. Alright, so we're going to do the middle, which is the other foot contact. So on frame 13, I need to reverse the leg. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the value of the right leg to the left leg and vice versa. Alright, so I got the contact post for the first frame, contact post for the center frame, and then again repeat on 25. Right, so now I got kind of basic for the left and right motion. Okay, so I'm going to go in to fix the next pose. Alright, so go to the blackboard, and the next pose is the down pose. On frame 5, I'm going to pose the down pose. Alright, so usually it's divided by every 5 frames. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be the down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be the passing pose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, back to the contact. So again, repeat on the other leg. Alright, so I'm just going to go into pose the down pose now. Okay, so I'm going to post the next down pose, which is on 17, and again, I'm just going to mirror the animation. Okay, so I got the down post. On frame 5 and down post on 17. Alright, so it's mirroring across. Okay, I should copy the values so that they are similar. Oops. Okay, so when I flip the down post, 5 and 17, they are mirrored across. Okay, so the next pose I'm going to hit, it's the passing pose. Okay, so passing pose. From the down pose, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the passing pose, the leg needs to be fully extended. Alright, so it's called the passing pose because the feet is passing under the root. Okay, you don't want it to be too high because humans are lazy. We tend not to lift our leg too high. That's why sometimes we trip and fall. Alright. So again, I'm going to mirror the values across to the next passing pose on the other leg. So it's on 21. Okay, so I'm going to check my poses, contact, down, passing, and contact again. Down, passing, and then contact again. Okay, so contact, down, passing, contact, down, passing, contact. Okay, so if I click back to frame 24, because first frame and last frame is the same, we don't want to loop and flash the same frame 2 times. So if I press play, right, you kind of get the blocking pass for a walk cycle, right? So you got all the passes, all the poses there for the side view. And I'm going to start working from the front now. So after I got the side done, right, contact, down, passing, contact for each side of the leg, I'm going to start working from the front now. Okay, because we know that on the passing, the hip bone needs to be under the leg that is supporting the weight, right? So which is this straight leg. So you can see that this straight leg needs to support the hip bone, right? So I need to shift over under the feet, right? So I'm going to key on the passing pose and the other passing pose. So it's the reverse. So I got passing pose to passing pose. And I'm going to let Maya calculate the distance between the rest. So I'm going to copy, paste. And I'm going to shift back the animation keys so that I can clean up the graph. Right, so I'm going to shift back. And I'll let Maya calculate the distance between the passing. Right, probably this passing is a bit too much. I want to tone down a bit. Right, so I got Maya to calculate the pose between here. So I'm going to set key on the first and I'm going to set key on the last. Right, so I'm going to delete the front, delete the back, and then smooth out the curve. So I press play. Right, so you can see side to side happening on the front already. Alright, so the next thing I want to hit will be during the passing, because my leg needs to lift up, my pelvis bone will need to tilt, right? So from the front view, I need to tilt on the RZ, right? So if I tilt over here so that my leg can lift up, right? So maybe I'm going to use value of 2. And again, on the reverse, I'm going to do the same thing to let Maya calculate for me. And then I'm going to clean up the graph again. Okay, delete the front, delete the back. Because we are creating a cycle, you should not have before and after. Okay, so I press play. Alright, so you can see there's some side-to-side rocking already happening. Yes. So next thing I'm going to do is the RY. Okay, so you should work with each axis at one time. So during the contact, because this leg is stretched out, my pelvis bone needs to shift and rotate to that direction. Okay, so maybe I'm going to hit 5 and go to the next contact. I'm going to do again reverse, and then the last contact, 5 again. Okay, so again if I press play, okay, so you can see that it looks almost there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my side view and work on the RX. Alright, so we need to lean forward for body mechanics to move, right? Because of our torso being heavy, we tilt forward and our legs try to catch up with our body weight, right? So I'm going to rotate slightly in front here, and I'm going to key again the same for all the contact. And on my down, where the weight is heaviest, your body will lean even more, right? So I'm going to ramp this up on the down. So just to show you the keys, the down. And on the up pose, the body should be slightly straighter. Okay, so I'm going to clean up this graph again, right? So again, it should not be flat tangent. And if I press play on the side, okay. So once you're done with this, I'm going to work with my toes now, right? So same as your pendulum exercise, overlapping exercise, I'm going to do the toes animation, right? So on contact, I'm going to bend slightly. And on the fourth frame and fifth frame, I want it to come down. So the third frame, I want the foot row to be flat. So to help to create the overlapping action. So be careful of the IK overshoot. Okay, so I'm going to lower the body. So if I zoom in the foot, you'll see that contact, and then the foot ball contact, and then end with the toes. Alright, so if I just press play, so you can see that the toes is softer on one feet than the other feet now. Right, so I'm just going to again repeat what I did for one leg to the other leg. Okay, I can copy this value. Make sure that my last pose is the same. Okay, so I'm done with 1 foot toe. Okay, so I'm going to copy this side to the other side. I'm going to shift back and then again clean up my curves. Okay, something like this, alright? Okay, so we're gonna go further by fixing the in and out of the leg. Okay, because when you when your leg swing forward, it needs to move in this direction. So during the passing, it's the furthest out. So during the crossing, it cross over a lot. So for example, like a catwalk, so the girls tend to swing a lot more in and out, right? So we know that during the passing, it's the furthest that is out of the body. Okay, so I'm going to position the out key. You can see that I've not animated the translate X. Alright, so on the passing pose, I'm going to swing the leg further out. And during the contact, it should come inwards. Okay, so, and it travels all the way back to the contact. Set key. I'm going to do the front. Okay, so if you look at this foot now, it swings out and then in, out, in. Okay, I'm gonna copy the same for this leg to the other leg. And then again, shift it back. And clean up the graph again. Okay, so you can see that, oops, alright, so it's the other side. Okay, so the leg will swing out during the passing pose and enter back during the contact. Okay. The next thing I'm going to fix will be the foot rotate. Alright, so we can see the rotate here. We need to twist it out a little bit to get it more natural. And we'll set key. And it's going to stay all the way rotated until your leg lift up. Okay, lift up. And during the twist here will be more. And then back to contact again. And I'm going to work on the rotate Z. Right, so we need to contact on the side. And now the lean forward, it's going to flatten. And then again, copy the pose to the last. Okay, so I got one foot that is kind of tilted. So you can see that on this foot, it's more natural versus this foot here. Alright, so this foot is right into the camera. So unless you're a robot, it's quite difficult to pivot 90 degrees because this tilt will help it to look more organic and natural. Right? So you can see by the shoes that you're wearing, in the side of the shoes there are more abrasion than the inner side of the shoe, right? Because we're digging more from the side of the shoe. Right? So that's why we need to do the pivoting during the contact pose. Okay, so I'm just going to again duplicate the same copy and go to the other side of the leg. Right, go back to the contact. And I'm going to key and just paste the graph over. Okay, so I'm going to shift. Right, clean up my graph. And again, copy the RY. And do for the same for the other feet. Again, paste. Okay, so to make it natural, you actually do not ever want the left and right to be exactly the same because a human cannot actually mirror the same values. Sometimes you want to play around the value and maybe have a little bit of difference, like just by one or two value difference. Okay, so now you can see the feet is starting to look more natural, right, than animating right into the camera now because of the twist that's happening. Okay, so once you're done with this, we're going to go in to clean up the pole vector. Okay, the two arrows up here. We know that because the swing that is furthest out, when the leg is swing furthest out, the furthest it should be is during the passing pose, because the leg is swing out further. So during the passing pose, the ankle needs to point out. Okay, so I'm going to go to the passing pose, which is number 9, and rotate the blue guy, the blue arrow. Outwards. Okay, we'll set key, and again go to the contact. I know it needs to be straightened, and you should maintain straight all the way until again the passing pose. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and do the same for the other leg. And we'll clean up the graph. Okay, there you go. Right, so again, the strife could be more subtle, right, just for demo purpose, so that you can see the bending. The walk should be very subtle because it's just a regular walk. You should not look like it bend too much or it swing too much. Then it's going to look unnatural. Okay, so I want to reduce probably the pole vector here. You see that the leg seems to, it looks more like a cowboy walk, which we don't want that. So we'll tone down all this stuff. So you need to learn how to feel and to gauge the value to try to create the character that you are tasked to. Alright, so you got kind of the basic for the walk cycle for the legs already. Okay, so we talked about the knee pop earlier and how to fix the knee pop, because there's a jerk at the back. If you take a look on the side view, press play. At the back leg, you see that there's a click motion, which we want to clean up the spacing of the knees. Right? So how do we do that? Okay, I'm going to use the extra tool. I'm going to use the stretching, because I know that the spacing of the knees are not clean, right? So we have the spacing at the back knee. If I zoom in here, you can see that the spacing of this knee, if I step it, so you can see that the knee is straight throughout and the spacing is quite little, like here to here, here to here, and then there's a huge jump in space here. Okay, so we need to tone down this because the next frame is also very close. Right, so we need to tone down this by pushing the knee back. Okay, so I can use this by using my stretch leg. Okay, so I'm going to set key on this frame, and the next frame here I'm going to tone down. I'm going to tone down the position, so to help me to cheat a little bit, right? So you see now here will be more gradual. right? And I want to go back to where it should be. So if you look at the spacing of this knee here, the next frame, and the next frame, and then this frame kind of stays there a little bit. Okay, so we want to again clean up this. Okay, closer to the previous frame and the next frame. Okay, so this one is pretty close. Again, I want to push this back a bit. There. Alright, so now you can see that the back feet, the back leg has fixed the knee pop. Right, so of course I can spend more time to get it even smoother if I want. Right, so you can see that by using this extra tool, I can control the spacing of the knees. Okay, so the upper stretch, you can clean it up even better. Right, so you want to spend some time to get the spacing as gradual as you can, so that your animation will look refined and polished.